Happy Doctor Who Day! Ellie here with WhoCulture. If you didn't know, it's me, hello, under these glasses. Full disclosure, these cannot stay on my eyes. But happy Doctor Who Day! We really have been treated with quite a lot of announcements and releases, and they're probably announcing things right now while I'm recording. So don't come for me if I miss something. I just can't keep up. Before I go any further, I know there are some of you who prefer not to see anything before the episode airs. So I'm going to give you a warning now that I will be talking about the clip that has been released of the Star Beast, the first full clip. Now, if you don't want to hear about that, you don't want to know anything, there will be timestamps. So just skip to the next section of the video and then it won't be spoiled for you. So I'll just give you like 3 seconds. So we see Rose and Meep together in what looks like Rose's little den. So they've already encountered each other. Rose doesn't walk in and go, "What the hell?" like Donna does. They clearly have already met. This clip might have swayed me slightly in my debate as to whether Meep is cute or creepy. This particular clip sends me closer to cute. It's obviously the first time we've heard Miriam Margulies' voice as Meep, because before this, we have heard a little wah, but this is kind of full sentences, not just the odd noise or word. I'm getting major E.T. vibes from this clip, like the vibes of E.T. are there in the lines, "I want to go home." That's very much E.T. phone home. Very similar vibes there. Again, swaying towards the cute is what Meep says. You know, "Why won't you talk to me? Why won't you be my friend? I'm lonely." And you can't help but feel sorry for Meep. However, I can't help but feel like this is drawing you into a false sense of security. There's very much a show of vulnerability here, and I'm slightly concerned that Rose is going to fall into a trap of trusting Meep and then ending up in danger. But anyway, later on in the scene, we have Donna enter. And Donna, what I love to see is that Donna is still the same Donna we've always known. Very sarcastic and loud, and I love Donna. I love Donna. I love that she's like, "You could go on Sewing Bee." I love how grounded and down to earth Donna is as a character. You know, you can go on Sewing Bee, like, you know full well that Donna sits there with her cup of tea and watches the Sewing Bee with probably her mum. I don't know what it is, that they're just so human. And then, of course, we then have the moment that we've seen in the trailers where Donna pokes Meep in the eye, and Meep, what the hell? Okay, so at the end of Time Part 2, when Donna got married, the Doctor gave her a lottery ticket, presumably a winning lottery ticket. So why does Rose need to sell stuffed animals to help Mum and Dad with money? I mean, we don't know how much they won, but presumably you were led to believe it was a lot. So my biggest question after watching this is, where did all that money go? What did you do with all that money, Donna? And I hope they answer it and don't just forget about it or ignore it, because I need to know. Speaking of first looks, first glimpses, we've also seen our first glimpse of Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson. On the Doctor Who social media pages, they released a short clip, 60 years in 60 minutes, and at the very end, we got our first glimpse of the 15th Doctor and Ruby Sunday in what seems to be some sort of chase sequence, running away from something. There's no dialogue, it's very brief. Presumably these are clips from the Christmas special. I mean, I could be wrong, but I would assume that that's where they're from. The one thing I will say, and I don't know if anyone else felt this as well, and it's very hard to judge because, like I said, there's no dialogue, it's very brief. Judging by what Ncuti Gatwa is wearing and the expression on his face, I immediately saw Eric F. Young from Sex Education. And what I'm just hoping is that there's enough differentiation between his portrayal of Eric and his portrayal of the Doctor so that you don't fall into the trap of seeing Eric instead of the Doctor. So, for example, when I was watching The Crown, when Olivia Colman was playing the Queen, I found it quite difficult to suspend my disbelief and remind myself that this is not Olivia Colman, this is supposed to be the Queen. And so what I'm hoping is that doesn't end up happening with Ncuti Gatwa. Now, I trust Russell T Davies and the creative decisions they've made, so I don't think they would have cast him if he was just playing Eric. So I think we're fine, and like I said, it's a very brief clip, so it's very hard to make any determination from that. But I'm very excited to see him in the role. I'm just so excited to see where the show goes in his hands. And speaking of Ncuti Gatwa's run as the Doctor, Russell T Davies might have let slip when the season 2, I presume, when the 2025 season of Ncuti Gatwa's era will air. Now, we don't actually know when the 2024 season's going to air, season 1, but it seems that RTD may have let slip the 2025 release dates. So in an interview with Big Issue that was released yesterday, he said this: "If I sound a bit hyper, it's because I just this morning delivered a Doctor Who script that will be on air in May 2025, and it's brand new. It does things we've never done before. I had to deliver it with a diagram explaining what's going on. I've never had to do that in my entire life before." What I would say is that we should not necessarily think it's going to air the beginning of May. You know, we thought that the 60th anniversary specials were all going to be released in November. Only one of them is actually releasing in November, so they could air in April and May, and it's just this specific episode that he's talking about that will be released in May. Or it could be a total red herring. RTD doesn't strike me as the type of person who would let these things slip on purpose. Not on purpose. That's the whole point of letting things slip, Ellie. I feel like he's so careful that he wouldn't allow that to happen. So either he's dropping a red herring or he wants us to know. Either way, it looks like May 2025 for season 2. Feels weird to say season 1, season 2. In my mind, it's still series 14 and series 15. But I know I'm going to have to get over that. Also, how amazing does that episode sound that he was describing? I'm very intrigued. But also a little bit concerned that if it needs a diagram to be explained, am I going to understand it? And the other thing, the final thing I'm going to discuss here, like I said at the beginning, there's probably about 5 things that have been announced just while I've been sitting here recording. But the last thing I'm going to mention here is at long last we seem to have a bit more confirmation about the airtime, the drop time for Disney Plus viewers. So in the Disney press pack for Doctor Who, it says November 25th, 2023, and then it says 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 11:30 a.m. Pacific Time. And that's for Special 1, The Starbeast. Now, it doesn't say anything about the other 2 specials, but I would assume that it'll be the same for all 3 of them. Interestingly, 1:30 Eastern Time equates to 6:30 p.m. UK time. So, as we speculated, it seems as though they're all going to be released at the same time, regardless of the location. Personally, I think that's the best way to do it. You don't want countries getting it earlier or later than others, so everyone gets it at the same time. The only flaw we see here is that 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:30 p.m. UK time. 11:30 a.m. Pacific Time equates to 7:30 p.m. UK time. So whether that's an error in the document, and they've just meant to say 10:30 a.m, not 11:30, or whether the 1:30 is the typo, and actually US viewers are not getting it until an hour later. I said I had a definitive answer for you, but now I'm not so sure. I would say that the safest bet from what we've seen here is that they will all be released simultaneously across the world. Everyone will get the episode at the same time, in whatever time zone they're in. We have seen screenshots of Disney Plus pages from different locations. So for example, Australia, the Disney Plus page ready for Doctor Who says coming to Disney Plus on the 26th of November. If you were going to get it on the 25th in Australia, it would be earlier than the UK. The fact that it says the 26th suggests to me everyone's getting them at the same time, even if that means that Australia doesn't get it until the 26th. You're still getting it at the same time as the UK. I'm going to stop talking about time zones now because I'm confusing myself, so I'm sure I've confused you. So like I said, there's probably been 5 more announcements while I've been sat here recording, but that's all I've got to talk to you about at the moment on this fine Doctor Who day. And we haven't got that long to wait until the Starbeast. We are 2 days away. But for your extra Doctor Who fix in the meantime, then you can check out our discussion with the wonderful Christopher Monfett, which came out yesterday. And in the meantime, I've been Ellie with WhoCulture. And in the words of Riversong herself, goodbye, sweeties.